Hey guys, well, I guess the reason we're here today is to say which one do I prefer. So here we have the jumper T18 and what I reviewed a little while back, the Radiomaster Tx16S. Which one's better? Well, I can spare you the answer. They both bloody good. For the money, you're not going to go wrong in whichever way you go. Now, the truth is, each radio is at the bottom of the price range in terms of what you pay for an incredible amount of quality. They're really both very good. The downside, of course, is that each one has little minor niggles because, well, they're at your bottom dollar. The bottom line is, these are not jetty DS16s. They $100 radios, and they bloody amazingly good. But they do have problems. So, as I've already done a bit of a review on the T16S, I'm going to kind of go through that one a little bit quicker than I do the jumper T18, because this has only just landed on my desk yesterday. So, functionally, this radio feels really, really good. It's a nice radio to hold. There's no significant issues. The gimbals feel silky smooth. Every potentiometer, the pots are all lovely. You know, even the scrollers here, which I've had problems with in the past, this feels good too. All up, it feels great. There are some interesting features. There's a 5-in-1 multi-protocol module on this. Now, what's not obviously very clear, what that means is you get 900 megahertz as an option. So technically, and I've not tested this, technically it's possible for you to bind this radio to any of the FreeSky 900 megahertz gear. And at the same time, it can bind to tons and tons of 2.4 gig stuff. That's pretty cool. Now, I popped this radio open earlier today, and what I discovered, there's a 2.4 gig antenna mounted inside the radio, and this external one is for 900 megahertz only. It's simple, it's elegant, it works. And I think that's pretty fantastic, because when you consider you got all that functionality, plus a crossfire in the back, you know what? There is so much you can do on this piece of kit. Now, areas that I don't like. The Haptic Vibrator on the T18 it's rubbish. I think the mount, it actually just needs to be a little bit clearer. It's almost like mine is bumping the case when mine runs, and I can hear the sort of spinny bit, you know, the weighted bit which is supposed to vibrate actually banging the side of the case. And I'll look at that later. It's probably just mine. Maybe it's just not quite seated in the right position. It's one of those things. So I'll fix that. I think a negative on this, the battery bay, it could have been bigger, but you know what? It's a little bit bigger than they had, but it's just not big enough. I think, you know, on this one, I'm happily putting 5,000 milliamps in my Radiomaster. I think I might only get to about 3.5, maybe 4,000 on the jumper. But if you only fly 2.4, that's going to last you weeks and weeks of use. Crossfire, on the other hand, is a heavy beast, and you know, if you're running high output, you flatten a battery fast. So, you know, all up, it's a good piece of kit, and I can't really fault it. I love, you know, for example, the weighted gimbal strap adapter. Superb. In some ways, I actually prefer the menuing on the jumper. But subjectively, I also think that's because I've been using the regular jumper T16 for a while. It's all just the buttons feel exactly right. With the Radiomaster, I'm still kind of getting used to the subtly different positions. You know, I dare say the reality is on the Radiomaster, if I use it long enough, well, I won't notice the difference, and I'll be saying that this one's, the button's on the wrong position. It kind of doesn't make any difference. Some people love this folding stand. I'm not a huge fan of it. I get why they do it, but I think the thing for me is because I tend to use the full-size Crossfire, the folding back here doesn't really give me any gain, and as a result it's just, I don't see the point. But hey, a lot of you like it. And what else? Speaker sounds decent. It's a good piece of kit. I think for me, you know, comparatively, if I were to take the Radiomaster I actually think the Radiomaster feels nicer in the hands. It just grips and sits better. And a lot of that's got to do with these raised sort of rubber pads that are on here. And I know that on the jumper, there are quite a lot of open source printed designs on Thingiverse where people have done that bigger grip for that exact reason. I think Radiomaster picked up that people were doing this, jumper didn't. Does it make any difference? No. I think functionally, I prefer the gimbal length on the Radiomaster. And to give you an idea, this gimbal is longer than the gimbals on here. Now, functionally that doesn't make a big difference to Joe Average, but I'm a pinch flyer, and what that means is I hold with my thumbs and my finger. And the longer stick just works better for that. Whereas if you're a thumber, the longer stick's a little bit more problematic because you're raising your thumbs too high. Depends what you like. It's personal choice. I think there are things which, on the Radiomaster, this little scroller just doesn't feel as good as the scroller on the jumper. And you know, I've done some mods to improve it, but it just doesn't feel as good. And I think it's probably just a matter of the difference in the moulding of the plastics or something. It's okay, but it could be better. And all up, you know, both of them, I don't think you could actually truly say one is better than the other. This is going to come down to what you prefer. So if you like longer gimbals, the Radiomaster might be for you. If you prefer thumbs, then maybe the T18's for you. This is, again, personal choice. You're going to like both. If you're flying crossfire and want more battery capacity, maybe the Radiomaster. If you don't want that much, the jumper. You can see you're comparing apples and oranges. It's kind of, they're so close, but so far. Now, for me, I'm going to continue with the Radiomaster. Why? The gimbal stick length just works for me. I like the grips at the back, and I like the extra battery capacity. And as much as there's a 5-in-1 module on that, which is so tempting to have, the truth is I know I'll never use it because everything's on Crossfire and a few things on 2.4. So for me, the Radiomaster is the winner. But I tell you what, this would be a very, very close second, and I don't think you could go wrong on either option. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the matter. I think there's a bit of personal choice you guys have to make if you're trying to weigh up them. But trust me, you're not going to complain with either one you have. They are both good. They're both really, really good radios for the money. Anyway, cheers guys, enjoy.